at home park. We'll get some reaction from Arne Slot in a moment, but first, Alexis caught up with the goal scorer, Ryan Hardy.
Now that you can look back at the results, is it a bit of a surprise? You kind of look back at it and go, wow, I can't believe we did that.
Yeah, we'll wrote our name in the Argyle's history, so you're going to look back at it years to come. It's going to be a special result that'll stay with us forever, so to do that, I think it's a very proud day, yeah.
Obviously, you made 10 changes to the team which had played Spurs, and everybody understands why. You have a very, very punishing schedule. But any regrets about that, or do you feel, young players have to play sometime?
No, I don't think there were many young players in the team. There were, most of them are players where everybody is constantly telling us, and I agree with these people, that we have a very strong squad. And if these players come from the bench, they always help us. So that's definitely not an excuse that the starters weren't here. These players should be able to win a game like this as well. But we also knew that this is a difficult game because of their playing style. And not good enough to win the game, or we should say they played a very good game.
On its evaluation there from Slot, it's a record that he wouldn't really want, but that's exactly what's happened. Premier League leaders who've been eliminated by lower league opposition. Liverpool joined the City side of 2018, Chelsea of 2015, and Leeds back in 2002. We were speaking ahead of the game, Stevie, about the possibility of a quadruple. That's dead, but to be honest, you don't seem that upset.
Under normal circumstances, I would probably be raging.
You seem very chipper, actually.
Yeah. I just think the whole circumstances of this game just is the reason why Liverpool lost. You make so many changes. It's a team full of players trying to get fit. You've got Jota and Chiesa who are trying to get up to speed. You've got some experience. You've got a lot of kids. I mean, it was just horrible. And I guess Craig said before the game that, sometimes something catches up with you. Well, today, making so many changes, playing a team that has never played with each other in a proper game, you saw it. You absolutely saw what can happen and how badly it can go wrong. For Liverpool to have pretty much the first shot from Jota that made the goalie make a save in the 92nd minute tells you how poor Liverpool were. However, you got to give Plymouth huge credit. They did exactly what they had to do.
Yep.
And that wasn't to be fancy. It wasn't to try and go toe-to-toe. Even though it was a second-string Liverpool, they hustled and they ran and they chased and they made challenges. Yes, the goalies made a couple of late saves, but you got to say, Plymouth deserved to win the game.
I don't know, but what was really disappointing was Liverpool's best and most experienced players were in the forward line. And we saw nothing.
No.
I mean, Jota's
had a shocker.
Jota's a very good player and he's getting back to fitness. He's always going to do something. But Chiesa, what is he going to bring to this Liverpool side? What's he going to bring when there's a time that they need to rest the Salahs and one or two other players? And thus far, you have to say, he's just not bringing much at all.
And this, I suppose, will give, in some way, Arsenal fans hope, Kieran, because you take a look at the big stars of Liverpool who have stayed fit up till now. But if indeed a Salah goes down, then you're in a situation where who is coming on to replace him? Because we saw nothing today from those who are looking, obviously, to step in for him that shows any sort of worth.
Certainly from an Arsenal perspective, I mean, just the fact that they've lost a game and they're out of the cup, will hopefully, for the Arsenal fans, dent their confidence a little bit. But listen, Stevie mentioned before the game, he expressed his concerns about these types of games require more mental and psychological over anything, and they didn't show up today. They just didn't show up. I tried to find an excuse for them in the first half with a dry pitch, but we saw clearly that it was watered in the second half, and still they just lacked penetration, they lacked intent, and especially for a Plymouth Argyle side that are low on confidence, you expect them to do a little bit more. For Plymouth, on the other hand, I mean, what's that now? 4 points in 2 games in the league and a win against Liverpool.
It's fantastic. You see the fans. And
could this be the start of their survival?
Well, who knows? But I mean, if he'd picked this side, Arne Slot, and he'd been at Anfield, I think we'd have seen a different story. Probably.
Right.
But you're on the road. a side who are fighting for their championship survival. They've got a relatively new manager. It's a dodgy pitch, bit dry. There's a home crowd there. It's a completely different task for these younger, inexperienced players. I think had that been at Anfield, you could have made that many changes and probably comfortably still gone through. But to do it away from home.
Do you know, here's the thing. If I'm Arne Slot, am I prioritising the FA Cup or the Premier League?
Right, so this tie against Everton is clearly
this
a priority.
Game, correct.
But did he have to go as far as he did with regards to the changes?
So the question you're asking yourself, if you're Arne Slot or you're the head coach, do I guarantee, or not guarantee, but do I go all out on Wednesday against Everton because the Premier League is 100% the most important thing for Liverpool? And that's the question he had to ask himself. And I think clearly, with the team that he put out, he is absolutely committed to winning the Premier League over anything.
But should he not have had more on the bench? Should he have not
because
taken his big
no,
boys?
no. I think in the end of the day, he's done the right thing because of this game coming up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Liverpool this season is about winning the Premier League. And if I'm Arne Slot, I am prioritising that.
In the entirety of the campaign, and yet you go and you beat Liverpool.
Take advantage of these. As I said before the kick-off, I said these players may never have another chance to play against the Liverpools of this world. And they've gone out and they've taken this game, this moment, they've taken their opportunity. And it's something that lower league players, will talk about when they finish their career. And what was your highlight? Wow, Liverpool, and we knocked them out, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and they won't be saying it was the reserves either, by the way. They won't be mentioning that.
All right,
Nobody
Stevie.
will.
Well, you just
I
brought
was
it
being
up.
positive. I'm just
You
saying.
are being positive.
I was
You're talking
being
about the Plymouth
positive.
reserves
I was
again.
being
Look, they're
positive.
celebrating.
I just said they won't mention it.
Well, you did.
I'm not a Plymouth fan. am I?
But if Liverpool don't win the Premier League, are you not leaving yourself a little bit open if the season is unsuccessful at the end by playing such a weak side?
No. You don't have a crystal ball. When you've got questions you have to answer in front of you, you can only do what you think's the right thing at the right time. And I'm sitting here now thinking he did the right thing, honestly.
Right.
Because
okay.
I would absolutely 100% rather be out of the FA Cup than lose to Everton. If they win against Everton, I'm okay.
Why in this day and age is it always one or the other? Back in the day, we had smaller squads, and we did both. You did both.
Yeah.
And managed to pull it off. But nowadays it seems as a mindset, if this was Liverpool in the 80s, there was the first team, didn't matter if it was Everton in midweek, the first team again, and then next weekend, the first team again. Smaller squads, less subs, you guys managed to do it. Why is it these days managers?
But at some point, you've got to give your younger players a chance to get exposure at the top level. You have to, because otherwise...
Benefit you down the road.
Exactly. Otherwise...
An awful lot of excuses here.
Well, and we were talking about the quadruple before the game kicked off.
Yeah, you were.
Aye, and
You were quite bullish about it.
And we kept saying there's a reason why. The reason why it's never been done is how difficult it is. And so if you're going to do what you're talking about when you played every single game, then that's why you're never going to do it.
I mean, even
though they lost today, he's prioritising other things over the FA
But I think
Cup.
what worryingly it was what came in for him today is not going to send him to sleep tonight thinking, well, I tell you what, I could use him, or I could use him, or if he gets injured, I can throw him in. What he saw today was a lot of players that struggled in that environment.
You know, you mentioned it. You know the biggest disappointment today? Chiesa. I mean, I know when they signed him, it was a bit of a gamble because he'd been out injured for so long. But the pedigree the guy's got, you would expect at least something from him today. Maybe not scoring goals and all that, but just showing yourself on the field and helping the younger guys and showing your experience. I mean, the guy's got a European winners medal. But he's been an absolute boss today. If you're Slot, as you said, he'll be lying in bed and ain't gone, well, we don't need him.
What's happened? Who's messaged you?
My wife just messaged in.
And said, to get her on the show.
And said,
What's she said?
ask Stevie why Liverpool wouldn't want to win the league and the FA Cup.
Oh, good morning, Cheryl. Thank you very much for joining us. Much appreciated.
Ask Stevie
Exactly. Why not both, Stevie? Have it all.
Do you know what the truth is? The FA Cup is not held in the esteem it used to be, and that's just the bottom line. And that's why Liverpool play the second team today. That's the bottom line.
There you are.
You know, you can fantasise all you like, and we all love doing that. But the fact is the FA Cup, in terms of importance, is down the list.
Right.
I'm typing this.
Any other partners messaging, Kieran?
No.
Everyone's all right. Any more questions for Stevie?
You can tell the snow outside. Can you?
Any last words on this before we turn our attention to what's going on at Villa Park?
Disappointing.
You're all right. You were quite happy a minute ago. What's happened?
Well, I'm kind of fluctuating. I'm convincing myself 1 minute it's all right, and then I'm thinking about it, and then I'm